Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sama. Let me share this story with you guys. There's this young Nigerian lady that said she wakes up at 4:30 in the morning to cook for her husband the food he would take to work, because she felt like his co-worker was about to Judy Austin. I mean, his co-worker, that the husband's co-worker is about to Judy Austin her husband, right? If you know what I mean. She felt like the husband was going to be snatched. But let me read so that you guys know how it kind of started, right? So somebody made the tweet. It started with this tweet, right? This lady made the tweet and said, there's a lady that wakes up at 5 a.m. to make her husband lunch for work. She then replied to that and said, I've always been too lazy to wake up and get his lunch ready. But the day he told me a colleague brings 2 spoons, so he'll eat with her, was the day I set my alarm for 4:50 a.m. Okay? That's what she tweeted. So, and then this thing blew out of proportion. You can see that it got 24 million people, right? Now, there are 2 sides to the argument, but I think there's a point that a lot of people are missing. Okay, so women came from the angle of, like, why should a woman have to be worried about the husband's unfaithfulness? Like, it is something that's been going on for such a long time that women all the time are preoccupied, worried, and everything about my husband being unfaithful. Why can't men just be faithful without women doing without it being a woman's job? If you know what I mean, without it being a woman's job to make sure they are not unfaithful. You understand? And you know the way some people say, hey, feminists have come. So typically, mostly men started praising her. You're a good wife, and they were retweeting and praising her. Before we knew it, I think they kind of realized that they're a family that are just coming up. They are not even. Oh, there was something else she said. She said the husband I just married. Where is it? Shit. Someone said, you know, and when they say women, a lot of women were like agreeing with her. Some women were like, okay, a woman shouldn't be too preoccupied with my husband should not cheat my husband. You should, like, women should feel safe, that their marriages are safe. That is sad when women have to be worrying all the time about a man's unfaithfulness and all of that. But let me show you guys this. For example, there's a woman there saying, oh, I love you, I beg. Before they use food, collect your husband, right? And she now replied and said, husband where I just marry you, me oba, I no agree. Oh, sorry, English. I wouldn't let that happen, basically, right? Any woman that says, oh, but your husband should be faithful regardless, your husband should know not to do this and do that, it shouldn't be a woman's job to make sure the man does not cheat. It is a man that should choose not to cheat, right? But some people now say, feminist, and the next thing, people started wanting to reward her for waking up at 4:50 to cook for her husband, right? And this one said, I just gave you 50,000 into your account. I just paid 10,000 into your account. The next thing, some people were putting millions into her account. Some people say, oh, we're going to supply you this for the year. This one will say, we're going to do this for you. And she has been rewarded massively. And I'm going to say that when I look at the whole thing and I see the condition in which they lived in, this is a blessing for this young lady. It's an absolute blessing. But I want us to take a few steps back and address something here. Now, let me say it. There is nothing wrong with a woman waking up any time of the day she wants to wake up to cook for her husband. There's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely nothing wrong. She didn't say the man forced her. She didn't say the man said, I must do it. No, right? And their relationship right now must be, I don't know the future or the past, but right now, from what she said, you know, the relationship must be healthy for the man to actually tell her that a co-worker was bringing 2 spoons. Abi, let me read it again. I say, but the day he told me a colleague brought 2 spoons, for the man to have been open to tell her, if the man had any intention to be unfaithful, he wouldn't have told her. But the thing is, he may end up changing his mind tomorrow and becoming unfaithful. Why am I even using the word Judy Austin? Judy Austin, her husband, because they were co-workers. Judy Austin, if you don't know, Judy Austin is a Nigerian actress, and Yul Edochie is an actor, and he was married to a woman that's not an actress. So Judy Austin and the actor and the actress were acting together. They were work colleagues. And the wife never knew that slowly it went into a relationship, and as we're speaking, the man decided that he's going to make it a polygamy. Just for anyone that does not know the story about Yul and Judy, right? So that's what I mean when I say Judy Austin, her husband. So now, so like I said, the man was open enough to tell her that. Speaking about when you love somebody, nothing is too big to do for someone you love for. Nothing is too big. Me, oh God, when my own, and especially she even said she just married, so she's still at that stage where love is more intoxicating than alcohol. But the same thing with hate. That's why they say when love turns to hate, that man you used to love, the day when when love dies, hate can be very strong too. But at the same time, let's even talk for love about love. You can kill a lion for the man that you love. I'm telling you, you will do things you never know you can do, because love can be intoxicating, and it's a beautiful thing. Love is a beautiful. Bible says that love covers multitude of sins. There are a lot of things that someone you love may do. You be like, you overlook it because that love is so intoxicating. I remember my own in the early days. This man, 6-footer, he's more than 6 foot, say 6 feet something. He's a tall man, big past me and everything. I say when we lived then, their office vehicle used to pick them up at a particular location, but they have to take public transport and gather there where the bus comes to pick them. The office of company, let me put it, company free transport. It was a bus, right? So, but everybody have to come from their different locations and meet there to be collected and taken to work. And I remember he used to leave for work around 5 in the morning. I remember clearly, and where we lived was far inside Lagos. You know, far end of Lagos is almost Ogun State, right? And it was like, it's developed now, but then it wasn't that developed. I remember that in the mornings, I would walk him to the bus stop, because I feel like, oh, the place is too isolated. It's too quiet. I don't want anybody to attack him. I don't want something bad to happen to him. 6-footer. Me, Tashere me, we manage past 5 feet small. I am the one that I feel like I have to protect him. Every day, I never missed it. I would walk him to the bus stop. Because love makes you want to do everything. So there's nothing wrong with what this lady is doing. Wait, I'm not done. And I was doing it. When I was pregnant, I was doing it. Like with pregnancy, I was doing this thing early in the morning. Early in the morning, I walk back. Me, that I'm walking somebody to Kini, I will walk back by myself. There was no fear. Love was shocking me. I say love can turn you to Jackie Chan for your man. I'm telling you the truth, right? I remember one time my mom came to visit, and at this point we already had like 2 children, and so my mom was visiting. So I left the children with my mother and I walked him. And my mother said, "You're protecting him. Look at you and him. Who needs who needs protection?" Because my mother was afraid. It was too early for me to be out. I had no fear. I remember one morning we came out and we saw these guys with gun. Do you know, 5 in the morning was like really still very dark, right? And we saw these guys with gun. I remember my soul left my body, but I didn't run. I stood. I was like, you know that thing is like, if not, we go die here together, you know, that kind of thing. But luckily they were vigilantes, right? All of that. So talking about what love can do, love is an amazing thing. But the people forget that her tweets is not even, I love my husband, that's why I'm making the lunch for my husband. I'm not saying she hates him, but she was not doing it she was doing it because she doesn't want him taken from her. Okay? So it's not like she hated him when she was not cooking for him. No. But there was something that threatened. Something she perceived as a threat to her marriage, to their union. And it's funny, imagine if that lady that is doing that cooking, the lady that was bringing that food, imagine if she got to see this tweet. But anyways, so she responded to what she saw as a threat to her marriage. Now, let's address that aspect. Like I said, all the gifts she got, all of that are amazing. Cooking for her husband is amazing. But let's address the fear she had for her marriage. Should women really be afraid for their unions? Should women really live a life of fear? Or should women actually feel settled in themselves and say, I know my husband will not be unfaithful? Or could have said, don't eat her food. You understand? And feel confident that her husband won't do that. Why am I saying this? How many times do you see men anxious about their wives being unfaithful? In Nigeria, now I'm talking about Nigeria. You see, Western society, there's equal fear of husband or wife being unfaithful. But Nigeria is a society where men's unfaithfulness is not really frowned upon by society. And it leaves women in this position where, you know, believe it or not, to a great extent, what society frowns at ends up not being very common. Because of the mentality is then affected. People's mentalities are affected. I'm not saying they are not unfaithful women out there. They are, of course, we know. Do you know how many men that found out that the children in the house, the children they have in the house do not belong to them? So women are unfaithful, but they have their own way. You know what I mean? But let's speak about that. Should people go into marriage and live a life of fear in their marriages because of their partners, or should people feel confident in their union, in their spouse, in their partners, and they know, my husband will not do that? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So this aspect is where it's a bit sad. What I say sad is that, you know, there's so much our society put on women. You have to make your marriage work. How often do they tell men you have to make your marriage work? And that is why a lot of marriages these days are failing. Let me tell you guys, this is early stages of a marriage. Apparently they don't have children yet. She's about to have one. Because after I had my child, I stopped working to the bus stop because I have to look after my child, or else you get a nanny or whatever, so you won't be able to do it. And then even if you, so do you know what it is to spend, let's be honest, by the time she spends all night breastfeeding a child or bottle feeding, whatever, she may not be able for it. So let's talk about long term. What's going to happen when, although there are other solutions, she can cook the night before, so then the husband can heat it up in the morning and take it to work. She doesn't have to wake up that time in the morning. Because if a woman is looking after a newborn baby, there is no way she's going to be finding it easy to wake up early as that to cook for a man to take to work. It's going to drain her. It's going to exhaust her. It's not easy. Like I said, or else she has a nanny. So maybe she could cook the day before and he can take it, depending on how their lives pan out. But let's focus on this aspect. Should women always be on their toes that their husbands will be unfaithful? Or should marriage be a situation whereby two people that love each other and be like, we are solid? You understand? So, because my message is this. As a man, would you want to be in a situation whereby you have to worry about, my wife may be unfaithful? Nobody wants that. If it's not okay for a man, why will it be okay for a woman? This is not even about power tussle. It's about human beings. You get my point? So if you, like I said, this marriage, it looks healthy for the man to have come home and say, my co-worker was trying to offer me food. It shows you that they are very open with each other. You understand? And it's a beautiful thing that she's trying to find a solution and be like, okay, even our food, you want to tempt my husband, you know, go work for you. You understand? You know, and all of that. But let's speak about faithfulness. It shows you how unfaithfulness affects people. How much people fear unfaithful. How much, you know, relationship, especially in Nigeria, women worry so much about unfaithfulness. When are we going to address unfaithfulness as an issue? And the men to change their thinking and the pain and the hurt they may cause in their marriages. But let's actually focus on this aspect. Should women actually be afraid? That's the question. Okay, I'll end up saying a lot, right? But let me leave it with this question. Should women live a life of being worried all the time about their husbands being unfaithful? And let's not forget, a woman can do everything. There are women that have done everything and the men end up being unfaithful. Unfaithfulness, unfortunately, to a great extent in Nigeria, is always being pushed on the women and say, you should have done that. If you had done this, it is your fault. The decision of a grown man to be unfaithful, they will say it was the woman's fault. But if a woman is unfaithful, you hardly hear them say it is the man's fault that she was unfaithful. I hope you guys get where I'm coming from. So let me actually add this. There's been cases where some men or some women, but let's speak about men because of this story. There are actually cases where some men became unfaithful because in their own homes the women were not allowing the bedroom dance at all. Like they decided to go outside for bedroom dance, if you know what I mean. Let's say in this situation and the guy started eating the co-worker's food, and let's say relationship started. Will you call it the wife's fault for the relationship starting with somebody else? Personally, I would say no. It is a choice the man made. You get my point? It is a choice that the man made to be unfaithful. He is the one that should create. Now food being problem. Do you know what I mean? He is the one that can choose. Let's not forget that. That's the funny thing. What's it called? So if he was not married, will he not sort himself out normally for food? You understand? A lot of guys that go to work every day that are not married, single guys, you know, they don't depend on a co-worker to dash them food. They can eat their own, cook for themselves or whatever, right? So in my opinion, If as a married man, he was having free food, from there he started having an affair, it is a choice. Personally, that's how I see it. It is a choice he made, right? Because the wife was not depriving him of a relationship at home. So, but I want to know people's opinion about this, because I think the story got a bit, how do I say it? The message kind of changed. You know, like they say Chinese whispers. It became about a supportive wife. People are discouraging her for being a supportive wife. That's not what the argument is. The real argument is, should a woman really have to be worried all the time about husband's unfaithfulness? And if she didn't cook for him and he became unfaithful, is it going to be her fault just because she didn't cook food for him to take? You understand? So people now started changing it as if it's as people are discouraging her for cooking for him or for doing this. No, I don't think that's, that's a different story altogether. I don't know. Whatever your opinions are, as always, this is my stand on it. And as always, whatever your opinions are, please leave them in the comment section below. With that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.